Okay, y'all see me over here kind of jamming. All right.
Get your
Yes, so hello everyone. Welcome back again. This is Shalene Michelle Tate, MBA, host of your Foster Mind Stories podcast, the achievement podcast for foster, adopted, orphan, and marginalized communities. But anyone can listen to this podcast. Super excited that you're back with me and my awesome guest, Miss Rosalind Monique Rider, who is the CEO founder of It's Already Done Ministries. How are you doing today, Miss Rosalind? And I think you're muted.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you, Shalina.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hello to everybody in the comment section. Miss Jessica, hello. And others who may join, welcome, welcome. All right. So today we're going to get into an awesome topic. We're going to be talking about really purpose and what it means to be unapologetic. Before we get into today's topic, I would like for Miss Rosalind, who is really a dynamic advocate, a community leader, to kind of tell us about her current successes and what she's currently doing. And then we're going to kind of take you a couple of steps back and lead back up to that and go from there.
Thank you, Shalina. So typically, I think people say that I stay busy. I don't think I stay busy enough, Shalina, to be honest with you. I do have a running joke. I always loved Where's Waldo? And I
Oh,
think my catch is now Where's Rosalind? And
oh
so
no.
So some of the achievements that I've been fortunate, I have accomplished right at 27 years in the United States Air Force. I've been a reservist,
Yes.
and presently I'm an IMA, a chaplain assistant. I've been able to be fortunate enough to hold quite a bit of different titles since I've been in the military. And I retired in 2011 as a correctional officer. I worked almost all of the state facilities in Texas,
Yes.
and along with that, I also worked juvenile.
Okay.
I was
Yes.
watching the kids in the evening and their parents during the day. When I retired in 2011, I moved to Michigan, and there I became a deputy sheriff. So I'm pretty experienced when it comes to the law and
Yes.
different things that I've been able to accomplish.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you once again, Ms. Rosalind, being my second time returning guest here on the podcast, and then also to kind of hear about your background and how amazing it is, and especially in what you are doing with the youth and helping their families. And thank you for sharing that. And once again, thank you for your service and congratulations on really how your service is extending to your current strides. For those who don't know you, who may be in the chat section, hello, Stephanie B and Jessica Brown and Maricela, welcome back to the chat. Feel free to leave your questions and comments. It helps with the algorithm. It helps me create more videos like this. But also ask your questions to Ms. Rosalind. Ms. Rosalind, so lead us up to what inspired you to want to get into law enforcement and helping families, helping youth. Could you take us on that journey?
It's interesting you would say that because initially I did not want to work at the prison. I actually wanted to be in vice. And when I discovered that I would have to be away from my family and often they would not know where I was at, and the fact that I would have to sample some of those drugs in order to build that trust, I did not have the heart to do that to my family. And
Yes.
so I put my initial dream job on hold. I was introduced to the prison system, and the rest just kind of becomes history. I
Yeah.
was able to be there for 25 years,
Okay.
and I traveled. Like I said, I worked. I started off with the males. I've always did maximum security, death row. Uh,
Okay.
I have worked with some of the worst in Texas,
Yeah.
and just had an opportunity to really understand the importance of knowing that each one of them may have committed a crime which had absolutely nothing to do with me.
Yes.
That wasn't my job. My job was to
Yeah.
focus on custody and control, to
Okay.
be fair but firm. And I knew
Yes.
that at any given time, I was only one breath from the choices that I made, and that
Yeah.
anyone can commit a crime. And
Yes.
depending on the amount of money you have, and often the color of your skin,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it can determine how much time you do, if you do any. And so I chose to treat everyone just like they were loved by someone. And
Yes.
and that's how I did my job.
Yes. Jessica Green Brown says you're incredible, Miss Rosalind,
Oh,
and
amen.
thank you for sharing really that part of your history. I
Hmm.
love how you highlighted that you chose to really treat everybody there equally, despite
Hmm.
whatever reason that got them there. You wanted them to know that they were still human beings. You wanted them to know that, hey, we've all made choices we're not proud of. And then in their cases, it may have been more, but to know that they had at least somebody that's empathetic and firm with them, I'm pretty sure they remembered your services for the better. Ms. Rosalind, in your past, has there been anything as far as your childhood or possibly growing up where you saw a lot of things possibly, or maybe you had associations that went through that kind of steered you in the, hey, I want to kind of go this route because I see these things, or I know somebody going through these things. Can you tell us about that?
So interestingly enough, now let me be clear. Are we speaking from my law enforcement side, or are we speaking? Is that what we're? So from the
Um,
law enforcement side, go ahead.
yeah, so it could be either. It could be both.
Okay.
You could highlight both. Both.
Yes. Okay. So let's address the law enforcement side. So the answer is yes. So I was very fortunate. I grew up in a with two-parent home. My father was prior military, which then certainly caused me to have the love for the military as well. I was definitely an Army brat. My mother was always very engaged, always was a businesswoman, worked often on the military bases as well because of my father. And so that wasn't so much that really affected my decision making. I think that being introduced to law and just understanding that there's so many things that are going on in society that was done wrong, even at a young age, it propelled me into the correctional facility. At that time, I was actually a criminal justice major as well in college. And I ended up changing my degree because
Okay.
there was a lot of arguments in class
Yeah.
because the books were nothing like real life.
Yes.
And often that's a fact. And so I did change my degree. I felt like if I'm already doing hands-on, I don't really need the degree behind this.
Yes.
But to answer your question, I began to just really find myself fighting for the underdog. Um, at a very young age, I went through molestation myself.
Mm.
Didn't really think that it affected me. I was able to push a lot of things down, kept a lot of secrets
Yeah.
in the family. A lot of
Yes.
people didn't know. My intention was to die with the secret,
Yeah.
but didn't realize that I think I heard Miss King mentioned earlier about bleeding out. I was bleeding out, but I was a highly functional
Mm.
um, person. So I
Yeah.
did very well, probably an
Yes.
overachiever in a lot of areas, but
Yes.
didn't know that it was because of my experience of the molestation that I had went through.
Yes.
As I said before, kept it a secret for a very long time, Shalina, and actually into my adult life.
Yeah.
I love Maya Angelou where it talks about why did the cage bird sing? That is definitely a direction that discusses how she was molested as a child and kept it a secret and thought that if she shared it, that it actually was the reason why the assailant was dead was because she opened her mouth. And
Yeah.
so I think I could relate to that a lot in the sense that I kept it a secret, thinking that it was not harming anyone. But I think that it really affected me in relationships that I had,
Yeah.
primarily relationships as far as heterosexual, not so much as same gender. What I
Yeah.
found was that it actually catapulted me into my destiny of protecting and having such a large sisterhood, and the importance of knowing that you have a voice, that you can say no, and that you can change your mind. Just like
Mhm.
I'm short hair today, tomorrow you might see me in a wig. I am allowed to change my mind. And I think that often we as women, particularly, do not realize that we have that voice, and
Mhm.
that and so I am now. Within the past 2 years, I have become the voice of the voiceless.
Mm.
I
Yes.
God gave me recently the title, and you know this because I've shared it with you. He has given me three titles. Initially, my title was Watchman, and I walked into that season. And then he gave me the title Conduit,
Mm.
which is a connector. Now I'm walking in the season of disruptor.
Mhm.
And so I am disrupting
Mhm.
the plan of the enemy. I am disrupting um, the life of many. I'm shaking up the system in the foster care system.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
am an advocate for that. I'm a disruptor with the prison system.
Mm.
You mentioned earlier about having that fair but firm. Our ministry has been blessed to be able to support several of the ladies that I once was a supervisor over, or at one time I was a correctional officer over them at one point, and God released me to assist them when they got out. And so our ministry has stepped up and supported them when they got out, and they're doing phenomenal. You know, they're doing amazing, and they are a part of our ministry because of the choices that they made. You know, you never know
Yes.
when you're in a situation how you're going to respond until you're in that situation. So often we may say, "Oh, I'd never do that," but you don't know what you
Mhm.
might do. Um, and I want to mention this before we move on. Going back to working at the prison, I was not intending to stay as long as I did. I was not intending to remain a correction officer as long as I did. But I was sharing with somebody recently because at that particular time I was in a relationship and even marriage at that time. He chose to put hands on me. I chose not to pull a gun and shoot him.
Yeah.
And and part of that, I believe, a big factor was because God allowed me to stay in the prison system and see the consequences of the women that I watched that had did that.
Mm.
And so
Mm.
instead of hurting him, I was in a position with a really good sisterhood and support system that got me out of that situation. And I'm here to talk about it now.
Yes. Let me just take the moment to express my gratitude in your transparency. You said a number of things. You mentioned, you kind of hinted on just really the reality of what you've faced as far as your past and coping with that. And then you went into how you didn't really want to be in the prison system, and you kind of felt like it was a deterrence from your dream job. But you thought about a number of things. You thought about not going down the route of, okay, if I choose to do this career, what would this do to my family? And then when you got into an area that was unexpected, the prison system, not really knowing that that would be a catalyst for much of what you're doing now, sisters supporting sisters, brothers supporting brothers. It's already done ministries, and how that has led you to be an advocate, really a support system for, like you said, many of the women that have gone through that, men that have gone through that. And it's amazing because you also mentioned, and I was going to mention it as well, but you did, how your testimony relates to what Miss Nevada was saying earlier on her live about how we go through things, and a lot of times we can keep it bottled in and up to kind of protect. We feel we're protecting ourselves, but we're unsure of the harm that it's doing. Um, Jessica Green says it's hard to talk about experiencing domestic violence and be as transparent as you are, Miss Rosalind. It takes courage, and she says she's so proud of you and the courage you show. Thank you so much for that, Jessica.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, because that in itself, um, I kind of felt that, regardless of what direction our conversation goes, I know that whatever we spoke about would be a testimony to hopefully help, those who are listening, those who may watch the replay, because Jessica's right. Talking about those things, you can't really always talk about those things in the moment while you're going through it,
No.
and especially for many of us coming from situations of foster, adoption, orphan, trauma, group homes, whatever our situation was. And then to hear you as well, you have both parents, but you still went through stuff. So, listeners, thank you for just tuning in. And if you are just tuning in, I'm here with Miss Rosalind Rider, who is really sharing her heart with us as far as we're leading up to her meaning of being unapologetic about finding your purpose. But for her, she's had to go on a journey of discovering her purpose. I like how you being in the prison system was a foreshadowing of the help you're going to provide for those who needed it, much like Miss Nevada, how she wasn't in the foster care system, but she dealt with foster care youth and teens, and then her heart was then really focused on the need. You was in a situation where you had to become focused on the need, and now both of y'all, through Sister Supporting Sisters, Brother Supporting Brothers, it's already done ministries. It's making dynamic impacts in the lives of many people. So thank you for sharing that, Miss Rosalind. I'm so grateful for you, and just those of you who are listening, she's being so humble. This lady is a phenomenal leader, and she's doing amazing, amazing things. Jessica says you are a true testament of courage and strength. Yes, you are, Miss Rosalind. The funny thing is, I met Miss Rosalind by the phone, like, has it been 2 years already, Miss Rosalind? Time went by so
It's been
fast.
almost 3 years.
Oh
Yes,
my
ma'am.
gosh, almost 3 years. And we didn't know that we would be sitting here today, talking still. We didn't know the plans, and God knows the plans, but it's been an amazing journey getting to know her, getting to know her ministry, getting to know like what she does on a daily basis. Miss Rosalind, could you tell the listeners like the changing moment? Like, okay, so you're in the prison system, you're not really wanting to be there, but what was the moment for you? What was that moment where like you said, you wanted to leave, but you couldn't? What was that moment that you realized, you know what, I need to make a change in this. I'm being used to make a change in this. What was that moment for you?
So it's interesting you would ask that. There's a couple of different things that were going on at that particular time. I had mentioned that I'd been married. I have been married more than once. At one point, I used to be ashamed to share that, but that's part of my story.
Yeah.
And so my high school sweetheart at that particular time, we had not um, been together in over 20 years, and surprisingly, he, what I say, came back for me. But I didn't know that the entire time he had been keeping up with me through mutual friends. And so at that particular time, was well over my 20 years, and I just wanted to do something. I was already traveling all over the world. I was living my best life. I was just going to work and punching the clock. And I remember every day people would say, "I'll see you tomorrow." And I'd say, if tomorrow is as beautiful as it is today, you might not see me. You
Mm.
might not see me tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so I always said it casually, but I didn't really have a plan on
Yeah.
what I was going to do. And so I just remained. And so when he and I talked about being married and me moving to Michigan, then that was my way out. That was my way out. Um, I made that decision. I had a home that I owned at the time. I sold my house and I moved. But along with that, I had a group of ladies that were coming to my home probably off and on for about 3 years, give or take. It had went from one woman, because at that time I was uh, going to MegaFest quite a bit
Okay.
in Atlanta, Georgia, and a lot of the ladies wanted to go with me the third year, and they did not go. So I went and I prayed and asked the Lord to give me the finances to buy everything, and I did. And so the reason why I bring that up is because at that time, one of the ladies who did not attend saw me in service, and she asked me in the foyer, how was that particular conference? I said, oh, it was amazing. Oh, by the way, I bought all this stuff. If you want to come over, you're welcome to come and watch.
Yeah.
I watched one of the DVDs. She came over. I knew her personal life. So I was going to grab a DVD for her to watch, and the Holy Spirit said, let her choose. So I spread out all the DVDs. She grabbed a DVD, not the one that I would have chosen. I tell people it was like a push and play. I put the DVD in the DVD player.
Yeah.
We watched. We weren't having church. I wasn't doing anything specific in my house. At that particular time, I was doing a lot of praying. I was really doing a lot of praying in my life. And we ended up on the floor, prostrate in my living room, praising God. From there, she had such an experience. She went back and told another lady who was also supposed to go to the Mega Fest. And she asked me, can she come over too? And I said, absolutely. So I looked at my schedule at the prison and I told her when I was off again.
Yes.
The next lady came over.
Mm-hmm.
I knew her personally. I was going to choose the DVD. The Holy Spirit said, let her choose. And she did. Not the DVD I would have chosen. I did a push and play. And we were on that floor again, prostrate, praising God. And so from there, they told others, and others told others, and others told others. And I ended up with 44 ladies coming to my home, driving an average of 2 to 4 hours.
Wow.
I didn't do any flyers. I didn't do any advertisement. I never knew who was coming.
Yeah.
They just came. I had one of the ladies who knew what I was doing. That was a caterer. At that time, I was just giving them chicken and whatever I had in my refrigerator.
Yeah.
We moved to making a list, and people would volunteer and bring things. One particular day, everybody brought chicken. I said, okay, we got to get this thing organized. And my girlfriend that was a caterer stepped up and said, Rosalind, you're doing something phenomenal. I don't want you worried about feeding these ladies. I'll cook and bring everything for you. And she did. She never charged me. She just said she wanted to do it. She had the heart of the Lord. And so ladies ate, and we worshiped and loved the Lord.
Yes.
And we were operating in the fivefold ministry, and I did not even realize it.
Wow.
I have ladies to this day that said that they received the gift of speaking in tongues in my house. And some of these ladies have attended the women's retreat. Some of them remember what was going on. I was instructed through my leadership to shut it down. I was accused of trying to start my own church. I cried because I was a baby in Christ. I just loved the Lord, and I didn't even know what they were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we stopped it. The ladies who attended the same church as me were instructed not to speak to me any longer. And so they did. They stopped talking to me. And the ones who attended other churches continued and said, God is not done with you. And I was terrified. I didn't know what was going on. Shalene, I didn't understand. And I was given a meeting to attend with my leadership at my church. And I was told that I was just like a wolf coming through the back door, and that I was trying to start my own church and steal the members. And so I was broken. I didn't understand. Years later, through maturity and good counsel of mature people that have come into my life, they shared with me what that was about. And so I never wanted to have another women's group because I was traumatized. The Lord knew that I love parties. He knew I love to give parties. He knows I love to celebrate. And so in 2000, 17, I began to plan my birthday party. It was my second birthday party that I planned as an adult. It was in the Smoky Mountains, Tennessee. And I invited ladies that I knew for over 20 years, and then I met ladies up into the day before. I sent out an email that said, "You are invited to my birthday. Um, be prepared to laugh, cry, break, and rebuild." I said, everything is paid for. Just show up. You are responsible for your own transportation. And ladies responded, "Is this right? Is this an error? Uh, you know, is this a mistake?" I said, "No, no, it's not. Just come. I'm celebrating my birthday." So anyway, they showed up, and and it was supposed to be a one and done. I got there
Yeah.
before everyone else. I drove around. I saw these magnificent cabins. I remember asking the Lord, um, "Wow, if I ever did this again, Lord, I would love to do this cabin in 4 years." And then I kept driving, and I saw another cabin that was magnificent. Oh, Lord, if this thing continues, I'd love to do this in 8 years.
Wow.
Just talking to the Lord. And
Yeah.
so the lady showed up, and um, we had a magnificent time. And that Sunday was Friday through Monday. 2018 was the first one we did. And I asked the ladies that Sunday, just kind of shared my heart and why I
Mhm.
did what I did. And I
Yes.
said, ladies, if given an opportunity, how many of you, by a show of hands, would come back next year if we did this again? Of course, hands
Yeah.
went up. And I said, okay, put your hands down. Ladies, if given an opportunity, how many of you have thought about someone you would want to share this with? And hands went up and voices began to say, "I'm bringing my mom, I bring my sister, I bring my cousin, I bring my best
Oh,
friend, I'd bring my daughter." And I said, "Lord, we just moved to the cabin that I prayed for in 4 years." So our second year,
wow.
we went into the cabin that I prayed for in our fourth year.
Wow.
Chilling, and we did the same thing again the following year.
Wow.
And so the third year, we moved into the cabin I prayed for in the eighth year.
Wow.
So we're now in our seventh year.
Yes.
Um, and it's just gotten larger. We have over 300 ladies collectively. Some have never attended a retreat, very much like you.
Yeah.
Just a friend that I met along the way.
Yes.
Um, it was such a blessing. I came after you every year of knowing you, but the door opened up for you to come in the
Yes.
third year.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I used to cry. I used to cry when
Oh.
ladies would come and wouldn't come back. And the Lord
Oh.
had to tell me they got what they came for.
Mm.
And then I've had some that have contacted me recently that said, "I want to come back." And I
Yeah.
said, "No one's stopping you.
Yeah.
You're always going to be a part of us." And
Oh.
I want to give a disclaimer that we are an outreach. Our ministry is an outreach. We are not a physical church anywhere. I've not prayed for a physical church anywhere. A lot of our ladies, just like Miss King, they have their own ministries. And so we are an extension of what they've been praying for.
Mhm.
We are an extension of a sisterhood
Mhm.
and brotherhood of people that come together and support one another. And I believe God has given me the ability to be able to fill in those gaps often that are missing maybe in the church. And that's what developed um, that meeting in my living room, which, by the way, that particular house was never supposed to be built in that location. If you go to, and I know you're going to get there, but in one of the anthologies that I wrote,
Yeah.
I actually shared the story about that house. And I walked around 7 times on that property and asked God to tear up the contract of the person who had who had that particular property, because I felt like they weren't believing God for the capacity of what he was capable of doing,
Mm.
and that they were thinking too small. God had already told me
Wow.
that was my property. I prayed over that property, and I
Wow.
promised him that that property, that house, would only be for women that were in need with their children. And I had that house for 15 years. And in that house, more than 10 years, I had women that stayed with me I opened up my home to ladies. And so that house was an ordained house from God. And so it is under unexpected blessings, thankful. Um, I do share, the power of the tongue. And I mentioned that I have to be so careful at the things that I say because they manifest so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very careful at the things that I desire, but I also know that I release it into the atmosphere. And because I'm a disruptor, I go through a lot. But I'm built for it. I'm built for it. And although I look like sunshine today with this bright yellow on, if you were walking in my shoes right now, you'd probably be crying to know my story and the life that I'm living right now at this moment. But I know that God, in the end, wins, and He's winning now.
That's right,
Amen.
Ms. Ross. That's right, Ms. Rosalind. He is winning now because, when we are being called to greater things that even we can imagine, a lot of times
Hallelujah.
we do go through stuff. And
Mhm.
for those of you who are watching, who you may have some questions as far as some stuff Ms. Rosalind has said, she is very transparent and a very open person after this live.
Mhm.
If you're wanting to reach out to her and speak to her or connect with her, you could do so. When she was mentioning the fivefold ministry, that's really a divine revelation of where God leads us to as far as our purpose.
Thank you.
So what was mentioned was fivefold ministry, the Holy Spirit, speaking in tongues, being prostrate before the Holy Spirit. Those are just experiences that she's reflecting on as she's growing in her spiritual journey of Christ. So if anybody would later like to talk to her further about that, it's an open book, nothing secretive, nothing crazy or
No,
kooky going on.
no
It's
secret society here,
no,
y'all.
no secret society here, y'all. It's just part of a developing divine journey that she's on. So thank you
Amen.
for being so transparent about that, Ms. Rosalind. And Mary Stella was saying in the chat that you're amazing, basically, and a great blessing in her life. Since the time y'all connected, same thing for me, Ms. Rosalind. She says, yes, God always wins victory concerning all things pertaining to our lives. Miss Stephanie B, welcome back, is agreeing to that as well. And Jessica saying that she's following you on Instagram as well. Yes, so yes, the testimony that Ms. Rosalind is saying about really speaking over the house situation, it wasn't to like, for those of you who may know, she was basically speaking the word of God. She was basically speaking the promises that he is, gives us, those who believe in him. And so it wasn't, when she made the comment of, oh, she prayed for the other person to leave, it wasn't nothing
No,
mean or mischievous
no.
or anything like that. It was basically just reminding God of the word that he gave to her,
Hmm.
and putting him back in remembrance. Not that he has to remember, he's God, but putting him back in remembrance of the promises that he specifically told her. So that was just basically a way of praising a situation that was divinely uh given to her. Okay. All right. And so yes,
Amen. That's
and
good. That's really
no,
good.
thank you. Well, those of you who are just tuning in, once again, I'm here with Ms. Rosalind Rider, phenomenal leader, who's given us her now and the past as it relates to coming to our topic today, which is talking about being unapologetic and finding your purpose. She was mentioning how, she had a dream job, but then she ended up working in the prison system. But then how that really allowed her to kind of like hone in on the who, the what, the where, the W's really, and the how of how she could be really of assistance, both divinely and naturally. And it's led her to her ministry. It's already done ministries, which is helping men and women and anyone that is needing really that support system. She testified about being able to, be a listening ear to one lady, then it turned to two ladies, and now it's a whole ministry. And she's also mentioned on the other live or in the chat section how we're booked currently for 2026. 2026 will be the next opening for a cruise. So we're super excited. I'm fairly new to what Ms. Rosalind is saying. When she says she's been asking me for like 2 years to come to one of her retreats, and I always had an excuse of why I couldn't come, and I finally was able to come this year. It was right on time. Let me just say that for myself, it was right on time being able to go. But even before going, the craziest thing happened to me. I'm not afraid of flying, but fear tried to grip me from flying. In other words, it was like a hindrance that was trying to keep me from going. But I'm so glad I went. I got everything I needed and more. I'm going to return, and I'm excited because we have a cruise coming next year. So those of you who are wanting to be a part of that, like once again, get with Miss Rosalind. Miss Rosalind, what's the best way they can reach you in order to like stay in connection? Is it Facebook with it's already done Ministries? What's the best way they can keep updated about what's happening?
So our page is IADM Presents. My personal page is Rosalind Monique Rider page. I love to give out my direct number. I answer all my calls unless I just can't, but you can text me. My direct number is 210-446-8663. My email is Rosalind R at idministries.com. I am on Instagram on several platforms, ID Ministries. We're also, I think I'm under Rosalind Monique Rider page, and then Most Production for my production company.
Oh yes, we're gonna be dealing with that soon too. I'm gonna leave that there. I can't wait for that one. Yes. Can you give me your number one more time, Ms. Rosalind? I'm putting it in the chat for them.
210-446-8663.
All right. I'm putting both her number and her email, Rosalind R IADM Ministries. Is it 2 M's or one?
It's one.
One. .com. All right. I'm putting that in the chat right now. Jessica says every adversity you have faced has prepared you for what you're doing now. I agree. Yes, it has.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica. Ms. Rosalind, take us into what it means, because you've said so many dynamic things already, but take us into what it means to be unapologetic about your purpose.
What that means to me is, I have allowed the adversity that I've been through to define many of the things that I think that God had positioned for me to do. I thank God that He's a God of restoration, and that in spite of me, perhaps I was supposed to go right and I went left. He was able to rewrite my life and still continue me on the right journey. So I'm at a point now where I understand why my mom has said to me when she got into her 70s that I don't have to apologize. I've lived this life and seen enough that I can own my life, what I do. And so I'm at that point, I'm in my 50s, almost 60, made some great choices and some not so great. But in spite of it all, I am living my life
Yes.
unapologetically.
Yes.
I'm an adventurer. Every day my journey is a roller coaster. Every day that I meet people, I know that, and I laughed earlier, Shalina, when you said you had no idea that we would still be friends. I did. I laughed because people who truly know me,
Yes.
and I think you're one of them. I think it's funny because our leadership team, which we encompass a total of 10 to include myself, that truly make me look really good. So shout out to every one of our It's Already Done Ministries team members. I laugh because they know that there's not a place that we'll go that I'm not going to find someone to speak to.
Yes.
I unapologetically am who I am. I am designed by no mistake from God. I am all that He has created me to be, and I will no longer live my life apologizing for who I am and even for
Yes.
the directions that I've chosen, which now has enhanced me to be who I am.
Yes.
And so I believe that every person who I spend time with, that I am a gift to them just as they are a gift to me. I know the value of who I am as a single woman right now, and I know it's going to take somebody from Jesus to come into my life because I may be in the streets at midnight talking to kids. I might be in the streets at midnight talking to barbers. And so it's going to take someone who God has created for
Yes.
me specifically
Yes.
to walk on this purpose and this journey with me. And so I no longer apologize.
Yes.
I no longer apologize. I love who I am. Even in the midst of this storm that I'm in right now, it's a testimony for me to get to the other side because I already see the light. And I know that I'm going to be able to reach back and get many others and bring them to the other side with me. So, no, I don't apologize
Oh,
any longer.
yes. Thank you for that reminder, Miss
Amen.
Rosalind, to be unapologetic. I know for myself, and then us as women as well, we tend to apologize a lot for ourselves, for life, for just things beyond our control. I'm not a mother, but I imagine that may be the same for, if we have children. And just to hear you be so transparent about being unapologetic about who God is. And that's the key as well.
Yes.
When we start to, if you ever have those questions like I did years ago about what's my purpose, why am I here? I kind of kept asking that for a hot minute. And then I finally got the revelation in 2016 that I didn't create myself and
That's
that
right.
I'm here for a purpose. And the revelation of I got to figure out who the creator is, not just from what I've heard in church, but who am I and what's my purpose? And then that's where my journey began. But each of us come to
Amen.
that in our own timing, and we are
Mhm.
here to be a support system for you, listener. If you have questions about anything we've said, we're family here. We're not here to force you to do anything you're not wanting to
Mm-mm.
do. We're not here to make you feel any type of way, but we're just wanting to share our testimonies, which they have done a beautiful job doing, both Miss Rosalind and Miss Nevada. So I appreciate you, Miss Rosalind, being so transparent about life and then being unapologetic about finding your purpose. Yes, Marcella, she is a gift. And Jessica saying you and your story is powerful and is important. So if you're wanting to find her books as well as Miss Nevada, who I introduced earlier, you can find these books at raisedbridges.com. That's raisedbridges.com. Shout out to Miss Cindy Ann Rogers, who is a phenomenal publisher, and Dr. Kay Kaiser, who is the visionary of a lot of the books that we've done, the Faces of Foster Care series. But here on raisedbridges.com, Ms. Rosalind, her excerpt can be found in Unexpected Blessings series, the Thankful series. And then also she contributed to the Faces of Foster Care volumes 2 and 3. Ms. Nevada contributed to volume 3. And then you have an Unbridled book on here. Is it on here and Amazon, or just is it on both?
It's on
It's on
both.
both. It's on both. So there's also an Unbridled book with a beautiful horse that's on the cover. That you can also visit here at raisebridges.com. That's also a contribution that Ms. Rosalind did. Ms. Rosalind, can you also tell us about some of the books that you have that's in the works that you're making?
Oh, goodness.
Oh goodness.
So I have two books that I am working on. One from my experience to Africa. I went to Africa.
Nice.
I was so blessed to go to Africa back in April of last year. And the experience was absolutely phenomenal. And so we actually went on my podcast, and I was able to interview all of the ladies that attended with me. Um, we went with another ministry, and that was really a blessing. And so that particular book will be about our experiences, and I'm hoping that they will join in an anthology for that. And then the other
Yes.
book that I'm going to write is, which I've already started, is about my father. And he recently transitioned in September 2023. I received so many calls, text messages, so many messages on Facebook of the impact that he made in their lives. And the funny thing that I share with people is old, old boyfriends that I was no longer fooling with and was not supposed to be part of our family because I dismissed them or they dismissed me, one or the other. My father was still mentoring them, and I had no idea. And so that is
Wow.
an attribute to the impact of my father, who truly, truly was a man of
Yeah.
mans. And so he affected so many people, and I have
Yeah.
so many wonderful stories. I actually requested, the Holy Spirit had me to ask people, would they be willing to write their experiences?
Wow.
So I'm excited about taking these letters and these
Yes.
text messages
Wow.
and putting them in this book and being able to share with the world just what an impact that he made. We
Yes.
had two funerals, and we had it in my parents' hometown, but then we drove to where we buried him, which was almost 70 miles. And
Wow.
we had a entourage of people, well over 100 cars, of people that followed and drove that 70 miles just to be a part of seeing him placed and rested and transitioned. And so, but he, as I mentioned earlier, was a United States Army uh, veteran, Purple Heart, Bronze Star. And what
Wow.
that means, y'all, is when he was in Vietnam, he was shot in his face and in his chest. When I was born, it was Vietnam War, and they had to get him in a foxhole and let him know that I almost died, and so they had to report it to him. And so I am a certainly his favorite daughter, if y'all don't already realize that. And I definitely was a uh, definitely he's definitely my heart, and he always will be. And so so yeah, yeah. So that's a book that I'll be releasing as well.
Yes. Yes, they're very exciting to hear about really your experience in Africa and then even that tribute book to your
Mm.
father. Are both of those potentially on pre-order for people to potentially purchase?
No, I can't handle the pressure. But if people tell me that they're interested, I'll certainly
Okay.
kind of put them in the queue so I can let them know when it's done.
Okay, no
Yeah,
worries.
but I
Awesome.
appreciate that.
No problem. And it's amazing how being unapologetic about your purpose is tying in with that book, Unbridled, that's here on your screen. Unbridled
Mm.
stories about running fast towards your dream, your
Yes.
purpose, your dream, your purpose. So how that's all kind of coming together.
Yeah.
I also want to highlight some amazing things that you're also doing on top of being a writer. You have an amazing service called Goodies for the number four hoodies. Could you tell us about Goodies for hoodies and how that came about?
I would love to do that. So I so many things going through my mind, but the purpose of Goodies for Your Hoodies is it is a event that we do once a year. It's our largest fundraiser for the year. This particular event is open to the public. It's open to the community. We focus on our young people, all ages. Initially, we focused on our 16 to 24-year-old kids because we do really, really try to make our imprint in the community and nationwide when it comes to our aging out foster care. That's how it started. What we
Yes.
discovered was that it's much larger than that. But Goodies for Your Hoodies is, we as an organization, we provide the goodies, and we were
Mhm.
asking the community to bring new unused hoodies,
Yes.
adult size, small through 3X. Um,
Yes.
Last year, we collected so many hoodies before our event, we said no more. So we have
Wow.
since requested no more hoodies. We're going to still keep the same tagline, Goodies for Your Hoodies. But now we are requesting the finances. because ultimately what we were doing was we have always wanted to get a transition home. And
Yes.
so now instead of purchasing the hoodies, which we still have plenty, even in us giving them out to the kids, to the young people, and to the youth, our clients, now we're asking for the value of a hoodie or more. And
Yes.
so the plan is that every year we take care of this event. Everything that we provide for the youth is free. Everything from, we bring in riding ponies, we have petting zoo, we have um,
Nice.
free snow cones and popcorn, and we provide them
Yes.
hamburgers or hot dogs, chips. We provide them face painting, game trucks. I mean,
Nice.
these young people, I want them
Mhm.
the moment they get within the vicinity of distance where they can see where we are located. I
Yes.
want them to act like they have eaten a 5 pound bag of sugar. That's how excited I want them to be when they
Yes.
come to this event. And
Yes.
because all of us are trained, we're all certified. Our team has been, we went through classes and we've received our certification
Yes.
in sexual trafficking. We are less than 100 in the nation at our level. And so we're really big when it comes to the safety of our young people,
Mhm.
but this is open to the family. We'll have live worship music, chili
Nice.
cook-off going on. If you want to be a judge, you can pay $5
Yes.
and try about 10 different chilies.
Ooh,
We have people that come from all over Texas. A lot of our 70 and 80-year-olds prop up their grills and they cook on the spot, Shalina. And I
wow.
mean, it just has that place smelling so good. And
Wow.
so yeah, so we're able to cater to all ages. It is a family event with the live worship music going on all day long.
Yes.
Miss Nevada King will be there to open up in prayer. In English, we have our sister Marie Rocha. She'll be doing prayer in Spanish. And so we have a lot of our sisters that are participating to ensure
Nice.
that we have a wonderful event. Kay Kaiser, our visionary for Faces of Foster Care, will be there. She'll
Yes.
also be able to speak about her event, her company case,
Yes.
Carry Ons, where she does luggage for aging out foster care kids. So we're going to
Yes.
partner with her and be
Yes.
able to support some of our young people in the community.
Yes.
So we have a lot going on that day. We also have a car show that'll be going on. So, if you are proud of your car, we're not going to judge you. Wash it,
Yeah.
clean it. You can pay a donation. You can
Yes.
offer to put it up in the car show. It'll be a People's Choice Award, so people will be able to vote. And so it'll be a fair vote, and whoever wins gets trophies. And so we'll have
Okay.
everything from Volkswagen Club, hopefully the Jeep Club will be out there, our slingshot, spiders. We have lowriders, classic cars. Just a little bit of everything's going to be out there. But I mean, it's free. It's free to come
Nice.
and just bring a lawn chair and come have a good time. And the Lord's presence will definitely be there.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a wonderful family event that we do to raise money to be able to get this transition home. And we're looking for people uh, who are any organizations or individuals that would like to sponsor any
Mm.
of the activities that we have for the youth. So if
Yes.
you want to finance the game truck or you want to finance the riding ponies or anything, we do have a spreadsheet with all of the prices of everything. As Shalina said, we're very transparent.
Yeah.
And we would
Yes.
love to ask you if you want to be an investor, partner,
Yes.
sponsor. Um, what that does is that
Yes.
all of that has to be taken care of first. So any
Mhm.
money that comes into the organization will go toward the cost of goodies for hoodies first.
Okay. Yes.
So if we can alleviate that spreadsheet and get all of that paid for before, then
Yes.
all of the money will go directly toward our transition home. And this is our very first year that we're openly requesting for
Yes.
assistance. In the past, we are a
Yeah.
nonprofit, but we are privately funded. So a lot of that money has come directly out of our 10 team members that are on It's Already Done Ministry. The leadership team has come out of their pocket and paid for this event, but we know that it's a good event. And we do have about two or three organizations, including ours, that will have prayer tents out there and praying for people in the community that desire to have prayer.
Yeah.
And last, I want to mention that we're going to have a food bank this year. We're going to
Oh,
be
that's
able to feed
good.
over 400
Wow.
people through our drive-through food bank. So you're not even obligated to come within the property. It'll be positioned outside of the fence line, and you can just drive by and get your bags and keep on going. I requested no sugar. I don't want anything sugar for these kids. So the food bank has agreed, Food Bank San Antonio has agreed that they're going to prepackage everything with seasonal
Yes,
fruit and seasonal vegetables.
that's good.
So we're not asking any questions. We just want your zip code, how many are in your family, and your last name. I don't care what you're driving. I don't care how good you look. Just like I said earlier, I might look like sunshine today, but you don't know the storm I'm going through. And
Yeah.
so if you're in that line, then we're going to provide for you because that's what we're doing. We're giving away free hamburgers and hot dogs, one or the other, or maybe both, for our children because that might be the only meal they have for the day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Rosalind, for just giving us an insight to Goodies for Hoodies. And if you're watching, right, and you're connected with an organization, a bank, a school, we know that a lot of the schools are now getting out. Summer, people are going on vacation. But for many youth that may be in the surrounding areas of San Antonio, Texas, they may not have anywhere to go or anything to participate in because as we know, a lot of times camps get booked and they may be too far away, they may be out of reach, they may be too expensive. This activity with Goodies for Hoodies event may be just the thing they need to put a smile on their face and know that there is support for them in their area. So, Ms. Rosalind, could you give us the date of the Goodies for Hoodies event so that we can spread the word about that?
Absolutely. So it's the last Saturday of July, July the 27th. The event will take place from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. We actually extended an hour this year. And the location is 16490 Interstate 35, Access Road, and it is in Atascosa. Atascosa is spelled Atascosa, Texas, and the zip is 78002. It is right off the highway. And this is our first year. It's going to be indoor, outdoor. I also did not mention we will have vendors there. They'll be selling food. We'll have everything from, now y'all know we in Texas, y'all. So we got brisket, we have barbecue
Ooh.
ribs, we have one of our team leaders, Vonda, every year she sells out of her fish plates. So
Oh,
she'll
it
have
sounds
fish
mouth
plates or
mouth is watering
chicken
right now.
plates, baked chicken. The sweets that we're going to have is funnel cakes, y'all. I mean, we're going to have Grunt's Grill. We have a lot of great Aqua Fresca is going to be out there. A lot of these people have been with us since day one. This is our fourth year. And a lot of these businesses were very loyal. So we ask them every year, the vendors and all of the food trucks, if they want to come back, they get first option. So a lot of our people come back. They've been with us for 4 years. Some, maybe this is their second year. A couple of them is their first year. Another thing I wanted to mention to you, Shalina, is that we really focus on the youth. And because of that, we're looking for youth entrepreneurs to have their own vendors set up. So we do have a few that we've already secured, but we're looking for more. And so we're hoping to be able to get some youth that want to sell their products. And they'll be able to be out there and support and be able to sell their products. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that.
Yes, please reach out. And what I'm doing right now is
Yeah.
I'm actually putting the links to these sites
Yeah.
that Ms.
And the
Roslyn
goodies,
connected with.
yeah, the goodies for hoodies is at the bottom. If you go on down in the menu and you click at the very bottom,
Okay.
yeah, just keep going all the way, all the way, all the way. Keep going. Right in the green spot where you see our events, you can click on goodies for your hoodies, and it has a landing page directly for that. On there, you can go ahead
Right.
now and you can begin to order any pre plates for the fish plates because they're going to sell out. And then this is a little bit more information about our event. We'd love to have you. If you're planning on coming from out of town, let us know. Maybe we can set something up for you and get you a place to stay, and you can come and spend some time. The chili cook-off is listed on there, as well as donations.
Book me a
You,
spot, Miss Rosalind. Book me a spot. Okay.
yes, yeah. And here's two videos of our past 2 years, of our first year and our second year, uh, to kind of let you see a little bit about what we did in the past.
Yes. Well, we hats off to you, Miss Rosalind, and I believe the comment section is also agreeing that you are doing a phenomenal job with your ministry and really your reach of helping who you're helping, especially with the goodies for the cookies and being able to pour back into the community in a major way. Those of you who are listening that loves chili and you want to be a judge, take her up on that offer. If you want to be a vendor, contact her ASAP. But you know you're gonna have to take care of the behind the scenes stuff as well. You just secure your
Yes.
spot. And then if you just want to contribute to the cause, get with her as well. Her number is right here. Still a good number right here, Ms. Rosalind, the 210
Yes.
446.
Yeah.
Okay. Contact her right there. And not just for, so if you're watching the replay and you're like connected to like some resources that can really help the efforts, then we encourage you to visit the website. The full website is already done Ministries, and see
Mhm.
how you and your organization could be a blessing to Miss Rosalind and what she's doing, not just through the Goodies for Hoodies, but the Sisters Supporting Sisters, the Brothers Supporting Brothers, which is, let me go right here. I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Dave Armstrong, who was a guest on the podcast. He's right there, Brothers Supporting Brothers. But any one of these ministries that you feel like, hey, you know what, I resonate there, or I would like to contribute there, or know what, I have some resources that can contribute, feel free to
Mhm.
reach out as well. It's already done Ministries, meaning God is already doing it. It's already done. Presents Brothers Supporting Brothers. There's a Sister Supporting Sisters. And then let me go back to this website real quick. Earlier, Miss Rosalind mentioned the transitional home. This is her awesome team right here. I met some of them already. Hello, everyone on the page. Okay. But awesome picture in what
Uh-oh.
they're doing, outreach that they're doing, the lives. Here are some of the photos that they are doing to really make an impact in Texas. Brothers Supporting Brothers right there. I haven't met all of the people, but I feel like I'm already family. You know, I was there at the retreat. Let me go back to this. I was in a pajama, y'all. I was in one of these cute pajamas, and they're at a retreat. I was just at a retreat a couple months ago, and the retreat was amazing. It was amazing. I really felt like I connected with the women that was there, and everybody come from different testimonies and stuff happening. But I felt like we all was able to take a valuable lessons with us and support with us. A shout out to Miss Nevada again, who's now in the comment section. But yeah, like Miss Rosalind is connected to other endeavors. Let me touch on real quick. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. Your connection as far as Job Corps, Miss Rosalind.
Yes, yes, yes. So we are partnered with Job Corps, 10 Job Corps up north specifically. We are not partnered with them financially. We are partnered with them because we as an organization has seen the success of our young people going there. As I said before, we're connected with 10 specific Job Corps where I'm very fortunate to have people that are embedded in those areas as employees where I can make sure I have eyes on our young people. We are able to send people, or excuse me, young girls and boys, 16 to 24 years old, to Job Corps. We have been able to help over 30 kids just since January. Some, whether it's just through mentoring, but a lot of them are actually there. We every week we've been sending kids. We've been flying them to the different states. We stay connected with them. What we do is we work on vetting them, talking to them about the importance of having a trade. And these are young people that may not choose college. These are not misfits. These are not throwaway kids.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them come from very good families. Some of them are delinquents. We just deal with young people. We're very fortunate to be very gifted at knowing how to minister to these young people, and they know that we come from a place of purity and really caring. But
Mm-hmm.
what we do is we send them there with the intention to take two or three trades. We intend to keep them there for 2 to 3 years. They're able to stay there on campus. This is a federally funded Department of Labor um, opportunity, and so they don't have to worry about the funding. We stay in contact with them. We write them letters. We communicate with them. We send them care packages. We find out what they need. We send them different things as needed, and then we make sure that we help them off ramp. We stay connected with their families. If they come from healthy families, then we do a wraparound service with their families, whether it's the grandparents or the direct parents or aunts and uncles. But unfortunately, a lot of the young people that we deal with come from toxic families, and a lot of them don't want to have anything to do with their family members. We do deal with the aging out foster care. That's how we started. And as I alluded to earlier, we discovered that it was much bigger than that. And that's a big project all in itself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're very fortunate, Shalina, to work with the juvenile facility here. We've been mentoring them since 2020. We work with judges. We work with CASA ad litem. I
Yes.
work directly with CPS, DFPS. I work with TWC, the workforce here. We're now getting ready to take 4 young people that cannot get a job through the workforce because they don't have the experience. And we were asked if they could intern with us. So we found positions for them where they're going to work directly under our directors, and the workforce center is actually going to pay them to work with us. I get a lot of community service people. The judges are now giving our names and approving for people that need to get their community service done. So I
Yes.
have a few people that are getting ready to work with us for that as well. So we're open. We're open for the opportunity. And Stephanie Braceley, my dear sister, her and I
Oh,
work directly with the military. We're able to get a lot of these young people that, for whatever reason, the military did not work out for them in basic training and tech school. So we're able to communicate with those young people. She shares with them about our program. And so I'm able to go in and speak to them and share with them about Job Corps. And some of them don't want to go back home. They ran away from whatever their situation was. So we have partnered with a transition here local. And so we're able to take them there. We have a partner here that will take our young people and let them stay there at no cost. So they live there because they are a faith-based organization. Then the beauty of that is that these young boys who come from broken homes, some of them have stories that are unbelievable, to include the military. They get that mentorship from a men's recovery house that also was supposed to be the misfits that society did not want. And now they have changed their lives around, and now they're faith based and they're learning about what God is doing
yes.
for them. And they're able to share the things that they went through in life and poured into these young boys. And now
Yes.
these young boys have adopted uncles and fathers and figures that they didn't even have. And so now that foundation is built. So when we send them off to Job Corps, they have a strong foundation. They know and they can see Christ in their lives, where
Yes.
before, as you said, they're questioning, where's God in all of this? They get to
Yes.
experience who God is. And we
Yes.
don't force them or choke them with Jesus. We do
Yeah.
require that they participate, even if they sit quietly, respectfully. But in
Yes.
the end, they end up wanting to know more about who this God is. And it positions them for the purpose that God has created them for. So I'm just excited that God trusts
Yes.
us in so
Yes.
many different ways. We just see the tentacles of God in so many areas, and how we have been able to be the catapult of being
Yes.
able to change lives in these young people, boys
Yes.
and girls. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Miss Rosalind, just for once again. I'm imagining really the different scenarios where the youth would come, and then they probably feel a type of way because it didn't work out, maybe in the military or, like you said, toxic family environment. But then they come to a place like the with the men's recovery. That's once again, you said it has been counted out already, but then in turn, they're the ones that's opening up opportunities for them to be able to take in these men, these young men, and then of course sisters supporting sisters as well. Ms. Nevada, welcome back, and she's saying it's already done ministries, it's good ground, faithful servants, and good stewards. Yes, Ms. Nevada, this ministry is that. And once again, I've been watching this like for almost 3 years on the outside, but I've seen the effects of it, and just I had a taste of it just going to the retreat. I can't wait for next year as well, and all the stuff opening up for next year. But once again, if you're watching the replay or if you're on here currently and you're wanting to support this amazing ministry with what they're doing, sisters supporting sisters, brothers supporting brothers, the goodies for hoodies, anything you see on the website, please reach out. Also support the books that's coming out from Miss Rosalind and the books that she already has contributed to. Miss Rosalind, you have shared a wealth of really empathy and compassion in the situations that others get counted out in, but I believe that's part of the anointing and the grace that God has given you. So before we go, is there anything you want the listeners and those on the replay to reflect on in respects to being unapologetic about finding your purpose?
Yeah, it is so many things that's going through my mind. I do want to share that my favorite scripture is life and death is in the power of the tongue, and
Yes.
you will eat the fruit thereof. But the part that people forget is, and you will learn to love it. And so, based on the choice that you make, it's a fork in the road, whether you choose life, or whether you choose death. You're going to eat the fruit thereof. If you say you feel like you're about to die, learn to eat the fruit thereof. If you say that you, that you are in the image of God, learn to eat the fruit thereof. And it does not mean that you have to be a scholar of the word. Just know that we can speak curses on ourselves. As I said before, Jessica said it's a self-fulfilling prophet. It's important that we know that. And so a lot of what y'all have heard today, it was quiet conversations with the Lord. I didn't know the impact of me sharing my heart with God, what a difference it would make in my life. And people are just seeing the evidence of what I've had in conversation with God. And I also want to mention that there's been many people who have given me grace. There's been many people who have loved on me and did things for me. So I'm only walking in the mercy that God has shown through other people for me. And
Yes.
so if we can come together and lock arms, and I know this sounds like a cliche, but if we can consider how something makes us feel before you so quickly do it to someone else, you'll see the impact of maybe not doing certain things. Does that make sense? And so for me, I have children of my own. So every one of these young people that I look at in their eyes, they're broken. A lot of them are scared. A lot of them want boundaries. So I'm a disciplinarian. I tell them, pick up your pants. Why are you walking around like that? So it's not like I'm just,
Yeah.
softy. I discipline them. And I do believe it takes a village. And so,
Yes.
yeah, I do fuss at other people's kids. And yes, I tell them, don't make me come to Job Corps and choke you out, because I will. And I'm going to get back on the plane and I'm going to come back. So, and they laugh. They love it. They
Yes.
don't want me to come to Job Corps and choke them out, but they know I will.
That's funny.
And yeah. So I just, I am unapologetic and who I am and who God created me to be and where I am in the walk that I am. And my chapter is still going and the best is yet to come.
Yes.
And don't think you're going to be my friend and just walk away, because you ain't going nowhere. For all of you that are listening, you already know what time it is. So don't even try.
Thank you for that, Ms. Rosalind. Yes, yes. Thank you for just those words of really reflection. Um,
Amen.
Yes, Miss Nevada, they need that tough love, genuine interactions. So true. And also here on this Sister Supporting Sisters page, shout out to Jessica Brown, who's been in the comment section. Go watch her replay on Sister Supporting Sisters, her interview with Miss Rosalind. Those of you who are in the replay or the chat, yeah, feel free to connect with Miss Rosalind also on Facebook, Instagram, Bridges. The website whose name I cannot remember right now.
I
Raise
know
Bridges.
Cindy and
Raise.
Rogers, but I'm not sure about Sheila Farr and what her publishing company is. So,
Got you.
uh,
So the Unbridled book that I showed with the beautiful horse that can be found on
yeah,
Amazon.com.
got it.
Um,
Yeah,
and yes, so Unbridled is on Amazon.com, but the
yeah,
Unexpected
yeah.
Blessings anthology, Thankful, and the Foster My Stories. Sorry, that's the podcast, right? The Faces of Foster Care anthology series can also be found on raisebridges.com as well. And I just wanted to say thank you, Ms. Rosalind, for just being here today.
Amen.
Thank everybody that's in the chat section for joining us again. Those of you who came back from earlier with Ms. Nevada, we appreciate all of you. Feel free to share this information with someone you know. Feel free to also, yeah, share the video and leave a comment that helps with the growth of this channel. And I appreciate every one of you as well. Ms. Rosalind, thank you for being my guest today.
No, it was an honor. Thank you. I appreciate
Uh,
it, my love.
Thank you. And like I said earlier, and always being fostered, adopted, orphaned, and marginalized simply means you're gracefully chosen, which means you have purpose, and you don't have to be purposed to come from those areas as well. You have a
No.
purpose. And also your words that you say, what we learned right now, that we have to be mindful of our words, right? Because it does
Yes.
have a effect, a good or bad, over the progression we can make. So we have to be mindful of what we speak over ourselves and others, and we have to be mindful of what others speak over us because those have effects as well, because it's the perseverance that we go through that helps us create the story. Foster my stories, achievement focused. All right, Shalene Michelle Tate, MBA, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for your time today. Thank you, Ms. Rosalind.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless. Bye, everyone. Oh, hold on. Miss Nevada says Rosalind
I
is co-teaching a virtual women's Bible study class tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, Miss
Nevada, I'm
Nevada,
gonna
for that.
get
That's
you.
right. Put it on blast. That's right.
That's why I was trying to hear him say bye.
Thank you, Miss Nevada. Yes, she's co-teaching a virtual women's Bible study. Miss Nevada, where is it going to be located at? On Sisters Supporting Sisters or the YouTube?
Boy, Nevada, I'm gonna get you. I'm glad we're both in San Antonio.
Thank you, Miss Nevada. Yes. Okay. Yep. YouTube, Facebook, probably. All right. So, Marcella says, "We love you, Rosalind. God keep covering you, blessing, and walking by your side." Oh, she says, "We love you." They're going to share it on. Okay, share the link on both pages. Yes. Well, thank you, Miss Rosalind. We gotta get ready for tomorrow. So you're co-teaching. Woo! Everybody, y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for participating.
And just so
And
you know, Nevada's teaching the following week after me.
oh,
So that same link, because she'll be teaching at the same time the following week. So she throwing me under the bus.
I love the tag team. Like, well,
Yeah.
for the next episode, everyone, I forgot to say this. Get ready for Mr. Aaron Allen. He's going to be on the 28th. I will post that information for you to be aware of. Mr. Aaron Allen is an award-winning director who focuses on the tough topics as far as Christian entertainment. And then from there, we'll have Miss Maricela, who is in the chat right now. Her interview is coming up on the 31st. Excited for a parent's perspective as far as foster care. And then next month, the first and second week, we're going to have three amazing authors and speakers coming and sharing their testimonies. I can't wait to share that with you. And
Yeah.
everyone else, have a great day. Bye, Miss Rosalind.
Love
Bye,
you.
y'all.
Love
Bye, y'all.
everyone. Where's
Bye.
Waldo? Where's Rosalind? Take care.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
He said, "Where's